Hello and welcome to some more Star Citizen and that juicy drama. I saw some posts and videos on CIG laying off staff and downsizing, which I want to delve into. Star Citizen Leaks is suggesting that Alpha 4.0 may still be planned for later this year, and a nameless couple of CIG sources I've talked to about those two topics to sort of bring them together. Star Citizen Leaks said that Star Citizen Alpha 4.0, which is sort of a giant major milestone for Star Citizen, is apparently on track for the end of the year, at least in some form. So this might be in limited tests or PTU phases or something. This should include both Pyro and server meshing, the much touted tech, and a new star system. They went on to say meshing has been in active testing for months, mostly focused on client crash handling, server crash fixes, and friend list issues. Pyro is almost done, and will probably get feature-complete announcements at CitizenCon. They also recounted a question from the Shanghai bar citizen earlier in the year: what can we expect from version Alpha 4.0? With the answer apparently being, we're holding a lot of details about 4.0 till CitizenCon, since CitizenCon will mainly be focused on cool things in 4.0 as well as some other things. However, 4.0 will definitely include the first version of server meshing, as well as travel to other systems and other things too, but I think Tyler or Jared will shoot me if I say too much. This is all interesting because I had previously thought that Cloud Imperium might be trying to run a 3.21 patch by the end of the year instead of 4.0, and potentially that 4.0 wouldn't have server meshing in it. It would have some sort of server meshing light, as they sort of seem to want to prioritize getting Pyro out into players' hands, maybe over server meshing, but it looks like they're still combined, at least according to that information. Make of those leaks and rumors what you will, though. So for people that don't know, 4.0 is supposed to have new star system, jump points to get to it, the Pyro star system, which is then going to have a huge amount of content, and you have server meshing, which would at this stage be static server meshing, basically going different areas of a sort of large star system or multiple star systems are controlled by different servers, but those servers seamlessly share information between each other. So rather than having each server being its own shard, you now have a shard which is made up of multiple servers. And then rather than having 100 or 200 players in each shard, you then have, 100 or 200 players on each server. So potentially in the Stanton system, you could have like 1,000 players. Eventually they move into dynamic server meshing, which is sort of the end stage, where they can have each individual object container, be it a ship or a room or a building or a planet or the area around a planet or a space station, all be their own individual servers as and when they are needed. Let's move on to the more dramatic topic. Are CIG doing large-scale layoffs and downsizing? Because I've read a lot of Reddit posts and seen some articles and videos now basically saying they are, but there is no evidence of this beyond a single mention of it. So we had a now ex embedded QA and junior designer from CIG's Austin studio on LinkedIn making a post a couple of days ago saying, "Hi everyone, I was recently affected by the layoffs that are transpiring at the moment," assumedly saying that those layoffs are at CIG. "I want to thank CIG for the opportunity to work on Star Citizen. It was a privilege and an honor, and I wouldn't have traded it back for anything in the world, and I wish I could continue to be in the trenches and work on the project. I will miss everyone on the teams. I will always believe in you." There were then some CIG employees responding with messages of support for the employee and shock at him actually being laid off, and another saying, "You two, you don't deserve this." So people speculated that the reply, "You two, you don't deserve this," had also been laid off at the same time, but actually they had left CIG in 2022. Also, there was speculation that maybe there was wider layoffs going on at CIG, but I can't find any evidence of this. However, Star Citizen Leaks put out a message, assumedly coming from a CIG employee, saying, "If you're wondering how the PU team is doing, it's been reduced so much that we have single-digit teams of single developer disciplines doing the work of, at this point, the entirety of a level design team, for one example. Work's going to a standstill outside of maintenance to heavily prioritize Squadron 42. It's going to get worse in this regard. This is me warning you not to count on anything PU related up from potentially a Pyro content drop until the full release of Squadron 42 Episode 1. Now, that could be taken a lot of ways. Now, that might be a CIG employee at a particular office. Like, if it's the Austin office, that's a pretty small subsection of teams anyway. It's also possible that that could indicate that Squadron 42 is actually pretty close. We do obviously know that Cloud Imperium are prioritizing Pyro as well. I reached out to some of my sources, and I only got a couple of responses, and they didn't seem to know too much about any form of layoffs. And they said, both of them actually, they're much more focused on hiring and expanding at the moment, but are always looking to make sure that employees are the right fit for the company. So yeah, generally layoffs, and there is a bit of a turnover in the industry. The only notable thing happening hiring-wise is that they're obviously looking to expand more. They suggested, though, there might be a few things that might be potentially affecting the Austin studio, although this is more sort of, it could be this, it could be that, I don't know, I'm just giving you some ideas. Potentially, the Austin studio is quite a small studio on much more focused sort of elements than maybe they're trying to sort of make it more specialized and have certain disciplines there. They did say that the UK is effectively super cheap wage and labour-wise for CIG at the moment, which is one of the reasons they've got such a massive studio there. Potentially it's issues with working from home versus the office. They were expecting some staff to not want to come back to the office at all, or be a bit rigid in wanting to sort of come to the office regularly. It might be more of a focused issue with QA or embedded QA at the Austin studio, or some more redundant junior positions. And changing priorities do mean changing staff requirements. However, they are much more looking to expand rather than contract their company. CIG are trying to be more efficient with testing and the PTU waves, EVOCATI, etc. But QA is still incredibly important to them. So I got the feeling there that they weren't saying, look, we're not replacing QA or anything like that with just more PTU testers or more efficient PTU testers. However, they're both important. Yes, a huge portion of resources are focused on Squadron 42 Episode 1 at the moment, but also a huge amount of things that are used for both games, like master modes, resource management, etc. And there is still various dedicated teams for Star Citizen's Persistent Universe beyond just server meshing and pyro. So my thoughts on this, there isn't any evidence beyond really a single junior designer talking about any forms of layoffs and getting laid off themselves. And I would like to iterate here that it's at the moment. I mean, it's possible that they'll come out and there'll be a load of employees later. But I haven't seen anything on Glassdoor, had a look there. Normally, even if it's troll posts, there'll at least be some stuff on Glassdoor as well, but there's nothing there suggesting any layoffs either. There is the potential that ex-employees are NDA'd, so they can't talk about it, but I do believe you can be pretty anonymous on a lot of these platforms. I haven't heard of any layoffs from CIG out of the norm myself either. This looks to me like it's probably just standard efficiency stuff, and some people are going to get laid off because of changing priorities. It's also quite possible that Cloud Imperium are trying to recruit and move people to the offices in Montreal, UK and Frankfurt. Maybe they are downsizing the Austin studio and doing it quite stealthily. I do think that CIG have a problem, or will have a problem, sort of trying to keep and attract talent, because they want a lot of employees. They want, well, they are at like trying to approach 1,000 at the moment, but they're going to want like 1,500, 1,700 eventually. I think it's between 1,200 and 1,500 in the next 3 years. And trying to maintain studios of that size in quite difficult conditions currently for people. There's cost of living crises, a job marketplace that wants to largely work remotely and from home. I have also seen people make an argument that, because CIG aren't making as much money this year, they're having to downsize. Now, they were making more money month on month up until the last couple of months, and that has been largely because of a bit of a drought from content from CIG, no major patch release, and them having the road to CitizenCon. I would actually expect a huge amount of money to be generated in sort of October, November time with the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo, with 3.20, with them moving on to whatever the Q4 patch is. And they've still made a ridiculous amount of money this year so far anyway, far beyond what they would need to maintain and run their studios, even at a higher level. And if you're interested in the financial breakdowns and how much CIG are making year on year and all that sort of jazz, I'll link you in the comments below to my financial playlist, which looks at things like, are we going to see $1 billion alpha in the next couple of years? Which I think, yes, Cloud Imperium have already raised, by my estimates, over $750 million. And we can look at financial breakdowns of actually how they're spending that money and all their financial costs and liabilities. Boom! That's it for your Star Citizen updates and drama today. I am really interested to know, do you think we're going to have Alpha 4.0 by the end of the year in some form, even if it's just EVOCATI testing? Do you know anything about CIG layoffs? Do you think it's just, overreaction? There doesn't appear to be any evidence, but I'm happy to listen to anyone that says, well, actually, there is genuine evidence. Are we just going to have dramatic headlines and overreactions for anything to do with Star Citizen, because that's what gets people to read the articles. Do you think only a tiny amount of developers are now working on the persistent universe and everything else has been shifted over to primarily Squadron 42 focus? Or do you think, well, actually, that's probably a bit of hyperbole? It seems to me, from looking at the roadmap and looking at what Cloud Imperium are doing, that there's quite a lot of focus on the persistent universe as well, but obviously more of a focus on Pyro, and the lion's share of development is on Squadron 42. Are you expecting to see a load of Star Citizen Alpha 4.0 stuff at CitizenCon? Do you think this year will be a record-breaking year in funding for Star Citizen? Because I genuinely do. Whatever your thoughts, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. For those of you that are keeping your eyes peeled, you will have noticed that the Tobii Eye Tracker 5 is on sale again until the 8th of September. They are natively supported in Star Citizen, giving you precision, head and eye tracking that can help with immersion, as well as adding another level of control to your toolset. It's a cool piece of tech that you can use for streaming and seeing where your eyes are going, and loads of other games are supported too. Check out my links below to get one of those at discount. Are we alone in the universe? The truth is out there, but what if aliens visit Earth? But they're like monsters, and all they do is look through your internet history, judging you, laughing at you with all their alien friends, watching your every move live, and then they send like 1 million ads to you about alien products that you don't want, like those shoes and socks that have a gap between your big toes. No one needs that. But what you do need is nordvpn.com/BoredGamer, which helps you prevent that happening from the more real threat of humans doing the same. It encrypts your internet connection, hides your IP address and location, it has an inbuilt ad blocker, and also helps you gain access to region-based content. You should go to nordvpn.com/BoredGamer and get a big ol' discount. You can also click the links below. Every month, we have a ship giveaway. For August, it's for a Crusader Mercury Star Runner with lifetime insurance. This medium-sized, well-armed cargo and data hauler is great for trying out a huge range of what Star Citizen has to offer, a perfect mission runner ship. To be in for a chance of winning, just comment on any of my videos made during the month. More details in the description below. There are some amazing people that help support the channel by clicking on the join button under my videos and becoming a channel member or becoming a Patreon with the links below. That helps keep the channel going and producing daily content. Please consider joining their ranks, but commenting, liking, subscribing, that all massively helps too. Thanks for watching to the end, and I'll see you in the verse.